What's up, it's Tim Moose here. With the new Avatar film coming out this week, Fire and Ash, since, it does star Sam Worthington, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Sam Worthington movies. Now, he doesn't have a lot of great movies, to be honest, on his belt, like Clash of the Titans, Terminator Salvation, and so on. But he has some really wide range of films as well. He has done, some hits and misses here, but here are my official top 10 favorite Sam Worthington movies. All right. Number 10 is the Australian film Cora Paper Planes. Now, this movie starred Ed Octobode, who you might know as a title character from the 2014 film Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. He was also one of the two kids in that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Visit. He was in Better Watch Out a couple years back as well. He's a pretty cool young actor here. Paper Planes, is about a young kid who enters a paper plane competition while navigating family struggles and personal loss. You do got Sam Worthington who plays, Dylan's emotional distant father here, and it's a really decent, film. You know, Film about grief. A film about childhood as well. Sam Worthington does such a good job here. It's a really decent, heartfelt film worth giving a go. All right, coming in at number 9 is Somersault. Somersault is directed by Kate Shortland, who will also go on to direct Black Widow, a couple years back. And this movie here is about like this troubled girl who flees her past and forms an emotionally complicated bond with a young man equally lost here. And you got Sam Worthington who plays the character Joe, who's an emotionally guarded labor, who's like foreshadows Warrington's breakout potential. This was one of his earliest films. It of course stars Abby Cornish, who I've always liked Abby Cornish. This was I think this was actually her first film, if I'm not mistaken. It is a really decent flick, a really decent indie film. Great performances by Cornish. Warrington's terrific. It's a really decent film there. All right. Coming in at number 8 is Everest. Everest is, of course, based on a true story of climbers from a true expedition who faced a deadly storm while attempting to summit Mount Everest in 1996. And it stars the likes. It has a great cast from Jason Clarke to Josh Brolin, Jake Gyllenhaal, John Hawkes, and you got Sam Worthington who plays Guy Cotter, who's a climber who makes a agonizing decision to turn back, representing survival instinct over pride here, and he really does such a good job. Does such a good job with the cast here. Great addition. I mean, again, the cast is insane. Of course, he is mostly the supporting here, but he does definitely his screen time is really solid throughout. Maybe one of his better performances, in my opinion. This movie is very intense. It is crazy to believe it's based on a true story, but it's a really good one if you guys haven't seen that. All right. Coming in at number 7 is a recent one that just came out. Relay. Now, this movie is directed by David Mackenzie, who also has another film that Sam Worthington is in coming out this year called Fuzz with Aaron Taylor Johnson. And Relay, is a intense political thriller following a man who becomes entangled in a dangerous web involving whistleblowers, shadowy immersaries here. And here you got Sam Worthington, who does such a good job at playing like a pretty much like a villainous type role as a hardened fixer who navigating moral gray zones here. And he definitely really surreal role of his. Will Fitzgerald's also great in this. Lily James, Riz Ahmed. Holly no one really went to go see it when it came out back in August, but it's a really decent thriller. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a really good one there. All right. Coming in at number 6 is Sabotage. Sabotage is awesome. It was directed by David Ayer, who you might know, who gave us Suicide Squad and The Watch. He recently directed The Beekeeper, A Working Man. He is a really cool filmmaker, in my opinion. And this movie stars a great cast that includes Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terrence Howard, Olivia Williams. The list goes on and on. It's about an elite DEA task force who is targeted one by one after stealing cartel money with paranoia and betrayal. Here, Warrington plays a volatile, morally compromised agent whose violent impulses and secrets fuel the film's tone. And Warrington does such a good job in his performance. Arnold's terrific. Terrence Howard is also great in this one as well. It has a fun action to it. I remember seeing this one in theaters back in 2014. I had a fun time with it. If you guys never seen Sabotage, do yourself a favor, give it a go, because I believe probably no one went to go see it at the time when it was first released. But it's a really fun one there. All right. Coming in at number 5 is a really fun one and very underrated too. Man on a Ledge. If you guys don't know much about Man on a Ledge, it's about an ex-cop who threatens, to take his own life here from a hotel ledge while secretly orchestrating a clearing diamond heist to prove his innocence here. And this movie has the likes of Jamie Bell, Anthony Mackie, Ed Harris, Elizabeth Banks. This movie is great. It's a lot of fun here. Really intense. Like, you're really trying to know if he's actually gonna get down there or not. The whole movie really it's like the movie Phone Booth in a way, but instead of him in like the phone booth, he's on like on a high story ledge in New York City, and it's really intense at times. I saw this one in theaters back in 2012. It is a really interesting one. If you guys never seen it, give it a go. It's a really good one. All right. Coming in at number 4 is Rogue. Now, Rogue is about a group of tourists who becomes stranded in the Australian outback and are hunted by a massive crocodile. It's directed by Wolf Creek director Greg McLean, starring some really good Australian actors like Rada Mitchell, Micah Vartan, the guy from Wolf Creek, John Jarrett's also in this one. It's a really decent, fun, entertaining one. A little bit like, I guess you could say it's like Jurassic Park, but with a crocodile. It's a really cool one. If you guys haven't seen it, it's fun, entertaining, very thrilling. The look of the crocodile is always pretty cool. I mean, it's a really decent one there. I guess you say it's like an Australian's version of Jaws in a weird way. All right. Coming in at number 3 is Avatar: Way of the Water. Now, of course, this is the follow-up to 2009's Avatar. Of course, years after the first film, Jake and Naturi must protect their family from returning human forces here, and it's a really decent installment. Sam Worthington's great. Zoe Saldana's terrific. I really thought it was a decent. Obviously, the water scenery was pretty decent. Now, of course, Jake Sully, who is now a father and a clan leader, and struggles with legacy, family, survival. I mean, he does such a good job as Jake Sully, and this was obviously a long way follow-up to the 2009 version, and it's a really decent one, and can't wait for Fire and Ash this week. All right, number 2 is Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge is, of course, directed by Mel Gibson, starring Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, Vince Vaughn, Teresa Palmer, Hugo Weaving. And it's based on a true story of Desmond Doss, who's a combat medic who refuses to carry a weapon during World War II. And, of course, you got Sam Worthington, who plays Captain Jack Glover, who's a hardened officer skeptical of Doss's beliefs here. And he does such a good job here. I mean, Warrington's great. Andrew Garfield gave an Oscar-worthy performance. It's a really intense, incredible film. Mel Gibson, I mean, say what you want about him nowadays. He did a good job with this one. I mean, it's a really good film if you guys haven't seen it. And obviously, his best work. I already talked about the sequel, but my number 1 favorite film of his is the first Avatar. I mean, crazily, there's been other actors who were attached to play Jake Sully at one point. Like, I believe Matt Damon was once attached, and a couple of others. But they got Sam Worthington, and this was around the same time that Sam Worthington also had the not so good Terminator movie, Salvation, that same year. And he did a great. I think this is actually his best work. He's done some stuff beforehand, like I mentioned, Somersault, Paper Planes, and all. This is really the movie that really put him on the map for majority of people. Became a $1 billion hit. Warrington, like seeing him go from like a paralegal, former Marine, who is Century Pandora, where humans explore like the planet resourceful, and seeing him like play this blue creature, avatar creature, is great. He definitely does such a good job here. Zoe Saldana's terrific. Obviously, you've got Stephen Lang. I mean, Michelle Rodriguez. It's such a good one. I mean, excellent, great visuals. It's just a wonderful movie, and can't wait for the other one this week. But that's pretty much it there. Here's my quick rundown. Number 10, Paper Planes. 9, Somersault. 8, Everest. 7, Relay. 6, Sabotage. 5, Man on the Ledge. 4, Rogue. 3, Avatar Way of the War. And number 2, Hacksaw Ridge. And number 1 is Avatar. Now his other credits, let's see here. Terminator Salvation, obviously. The Clash of the Titans movies, they weren't so good. Texas Killing Field was a pretty decent one. The Debt with Helen Mirren, that actually wasn't so good, to be honest. Last Night with Keira Knightley. The Keeping Room he was in. Keeping Mr. Heineken, which was also not so good. Pretty forgettable, actually. The Hunter's Prayer, also not so good. The recent Kevin Hart film Lift, which that was actually pretty fun, really. Fractured, I mean, Bootman, Dirty Deeds, Getting Square, like many others there. But let me ask you guys, what are some of your favorite Sam Worthington movies? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Sammy Siren.